Hey guys, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 spoiler talk. I'm not going to talk about everything in the movie. I'm just going to talk about a few, and by a few I mean a lot of key things I wanted to just quickly go over. Firstly, I'm going to start with Ego, the surprise villain of the movie. So he's Star-Lord's dad, and what he's done is he's planted these little pieces of himself across the galaxy on planets, and he wants Star-Lord to help him basically turn every single planet into a piece of Ego. And yeah, it's pretty messed up. Especially considering that his Ego gave Peter's mom the cancer that killed her in the first movie, the whole beginning of the first movie. And it's crazy. And I just love Kurt Russell in this movie. Kurt Russell completely stole the movie for me, and he was just great. I just freaking loved Kurt Russell in this movie. You have Star Lord's arc where he starts out going, he's looking for his father, and he's trying to figure out what his place is and what's going on. And by the end, he kind of becomes like the father role of this new family of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the father type character. Gamora is like the mother, Drax is the older brother, Rocket's the middle kid, and Groot is literally the baby. But Yondu sacrifices himself after a very awesome Mary Poppins reference. Um I've seen a ton of videos now being spammed with comments of people going, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." It's great. Um and he's got a funeral, and it's a great funeral because a bunch of Ravager captains, like other Ravager captains, show up to his funeral, and I'll touch more on them later. But another cool thing I want to talk about, and I just love this. So there's a throwaway line earlier in the movie where Star Lord says, because Ego tells him that once he masters his powers that the planet gives him, he'll be able to build things with it. And he's like, "I'm totally building a 50-foot tall statue of Pac-Man or something like that." I don't remember if it was 50 feet tall, but he's it's a big statue of Pac-Man he wanted to build. So there's a bit where they're fighting near the end, and it's the two of them going head to head, and Ego pulls some rocks onto him and makes a big version of Ego. Um, and Star Lord pulls a bunch of rocks onto him, and he makes Pac Man, and it was great. I just loved that scene. Did it completely fit tonally with the seriousness of the fact that he's trying to murder his father? No, but it was great. It was just great. And then we got to talk about the David Hasselhoff cameo. So they make a joke in the movie. Star Lord tells him that he never knew his dad, and he always used to tell kids at school that David Hasselhoff was his dad, and that's why he wasn't around. And then at the near the end, when Ego is kind of starting to flip his lid, he morphs into David Hasselhoff for a second, and it was great. Um, uh, I don't remember exactly where it was, but there's a Jeff Goldblum cameo, and I'm totally up for that because I love Jeff Goldblum, and I can't wait to see him in Thor Ragnarok. Kraglin gets a much bigger role this time around. Sean Gunn, James Gunn's little brother, who he was in the first movie as Yondu's right hand man, and in this movie he gets a lot more of a character, and by the end he gets Yondu's fin and Yaka arrow, and he starts kind of trying to learn how to control it and stabs um, Drax in the throat. Let's move on to real quick, Baby Groot. Baby Groot was amazing. Baby Groot was adorable. Baby Groot was hilarious. And the opening scene of this movie was just. It was better than the opening of the first movie. You know how in the first movie, Star Lord gets onto Morag and he's. You know, it's all like serious and stuff, and the music, the score is like really intense. And then he gets inside and he puts the Walkman on and he starts dancing around to Come and Get Your Love. Well, this movie tops it. It starts out with they're all waiting for the obelisk to arrive, the big tentacle creature in the trailer, and it lands and they start fighting and Baby Groot plugs the Walkman into the speakers that Rocket built so they could listen to music while working. And ELO's Mr. Blue Sky starts playing as the whole scene, it's like a 5 minute scene. It's just following Baby Groot dancing around while the fight is going on in the background, and it was amazing. And they even had a callback to the post-credit scene from Guardians of the Galaxy with Baby Groot dancing, because when Drax gets thrown and he lands in front of Baby Groot stops dancing for a minute until Drax gets back up. And I just thought that was a nice callback. But yeah, I loved that scene. That scene in particular was really really awesome and one of my favorites in the movie, and I could not stop laughing. Now let's get to the post-credit scenes this time. So I already told you guys about the one with Kraglin. Um, we have the OG Guardians of the Galaxy team. I forget the names of the characters, but I can tell you the actors. You got Sylvester Stallone, Michael Rosenbaum. I think it was Ving Rhames was in there, and I don't understand why. I guess it's not a huge deal, but Miley Cyrus was one of the Ravager captains, one of the OG Guardians members, and that's gonna make a lot of people mad, I think. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, James Gunn had the balls to cast Miley Cyrus as the voice of I forgot the name. It was some like robot because she voices a robot, so it's not that bad. But the funniest one, the one that got the most laughs, was the teenage Groot scene. It is Groot. He's playing on a video game, and Star Lord comes in, and he's giving him like a dad lecture, and Groot's mocking him. He's like, "I'm Groot," and he's mocking him, and it's great. I love the idea that Groot goes through like the teenage phases, and it's so just great. This movie excels in humor. Another thing, the Stanley Watcher theory confirmed. I will talk more about this in a separate video because I've actually wanted to do a theory and speculation video on this for a while. But I'll just say this: it's more or less confirmed that Stanley is